Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Squares of the Round Table podcast, episode number 40. We are officially over the hill for a podcast.
Oi.
40.
Oi.
Our podcast is 40 weeks old. That's like a 740 in dog podcast years.
That's a lot of years.
With me, as usual, is Ivan.
Hey, how we all doing? And of course,
Jeff.
Hello. I don't know why I did that. It's 280, by the way, in dog years.
Welcome back. Thanks for listening. Hey, guess what? We're here to talk about stuff. But first, we're going to get through introductions. Ivan, how was your week?
All right. Well, just as crazy as the week before. Lots of appearances around town. Just spinning records and working on some projects, some side things I'm doing. And just got done going through some old demo tapes and just mastered out a CD. And I've got an idea. And I'm entertaining this idea.
Oh, God, smoke rising.
Are you entertaining this idea right here, right now?
Right here, right now, I'm entertaining this notion that there's a record pressing plant just down the street from my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, I wonder if I walked into that plant, I could ask them just how much it would cost me to make an album. By the way, the new plant is called Smashed Records. Just opened about 3 weeks ago. Yes, Chicago is pressing their own records again. Pretty amazing stuff. 3 guys who, enthusiasts, if you will, just decided to get together and say, hey, let's print our own records instead of going to Third Man in Detroit or United down in Nashville. So, yes, and they had a big to-do a few weeks back. I wish I would have got to go over there and check it out, but yeah, I am nursing a notion here of maybe going down there. So I'm thinking for my next appearance on Squares of the Round Table, I might want to go ahead and check it out as part of the show.
Okay.
And see what it's all about. You know, kind of find out what it all incorporates. I mean, I understand it's a farm to table type of establishment. Basically, you go there and you pick things out, you set things up, you can audition your stuff right there. They got a performance space, they've got a cafeteria, place to, gather friends and such. I mean, I heard it's a really big deal, so I'm curious and I'd like to check that whole thing out. So yeah, I'm hoping maybe I can get down there sometime this week and then I can bring that information back with me. Plus maybe, who knows, maybe if I can get somebody to interview with me, and then maybe bring some of that back as well. So we'll see what happens. Just entertaining a notion, boys.
Okay. Well,
yeah, and
let us know how that goes.
This is what happens when we don't have show meetings.
Why?
Nothing. I'm just kidding around, Ivan.
Oh, okay.
This is what happens when we don't have a show. We don't have show meetings. Stuff like this happens on air.
We don't have show meetings. We just nursing notions all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, isn't what we do? We nurse our notions and our ideas, and we nosh everything over before we open up the microphones and stuff like that.
Nursing and noshing of notions.
Noshing of notions.
Yeah.
What happened to nursing of notions? Because that sounds like a band.
Oh, the nursing of notions. Well, we could use either one. We can nurse or we can nosh. But as long as the notion gets addressed, I guess that's a good thing. So, with that being said, as far as everything else is concerned, well, just business as usual on my end. And let's see, I got actually an easy week this week, so I'm gonna take advantage of that. See my folks on Thursday.
Good.
And just kind of lay low and kind of go in like a lamb into March.
Yeah, it's been. We're going out like a lion. We're going into March, isn't it? Yeah. This winter refuses to die.
Yes.
A coal miser doesn't want to get his grippers off the season. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's getting revenge for not having Christmas white.
Right. The Winter Warlock is pissed.
All right. Speaking of pissed off warlocks, Jeff, how was your week?
Wow.
There's a segue.
There's a segue. Okay, well. How am I supposed to...
That was
There's plenty anything to be a pissed off warlock this week. Wow. Kind of a crazy week. I was at a Toastmaster event yesterday, a couple different ones, and so really good turnout. Saw some really great presenters yesterday. Eric Feinedigen, who is a two-time World Championship finalist. Garrett Gray, who is part of a group called 100% Gluten that is doing stuff down at Second City. As a matter of fact, they just had a show Friday night. I heard it was great. And we had a couple other. I screw up her new last name because she got married, but Amy Smatos, who is a member of the National Speakers Association. It was a really fun event. A little overshadowed though. I wasn't going to talk about this here, but we lost a really amazing person over the weekend, Colonel Jill Morgenthaler, who once had a staring contest with Saddam Hussein, and Saddam turned away and apparently yelled in Arabic, "Kill her." But we lost her this weekend. Apparently there was a scuba diving accident. I believe it was in Costa Rica. But she was the Homeland Security Director under Rod Blagojevich. She ran against Peter Roskam for Congress at one point. She was one of the first 83 women allowed to come to I can't remember if it was West Point or to train with the Army for the first time in 75. And then she has been a professional speaker now for the last, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years. But yeah, I mean, she, like I said, just an amazing woman, incredible, and, hard as nails, as you can imagine, but definitely somebody, like I said, it was funny, the group that I meet with that she's a member of, it was really kind of a somber occasion last night when we met, and usually it's not for something like speech, because it was a speech contest weekend, and like I said, I mean, really just an incredible person. In some ways, you talk about, are there real life superheroes, and definitely she was one of them. So yeah, definitely that. And I'm working on I am working on my World Championship of Public Speaking Contest speech, which
right.
I am through the first round.
Okay.
And I still have a lot of work to do. So I only have about what is it? 20-some, maybe 9. No, math is not my friend. I'm losing time. I need to get working on it. But other than that, yeah, it was kind of a quiet weekend otherwise. How about you, Mike?
I had a good week. I saw Stars Born on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I liked it. It was good. It was great performances. I enjoyed it. It was obviously a sad tale. It was good. I enjoyed it.
I saw it in October, and it's funny. I saw Green Book. I figured we'd talk about that later. But
we'll get all in Oscar mode here in a little bit here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry. I'll let you keep going. We'll
that's
talk
right.
about Stars Born Green Book later, and we'll talk Oscars.
Yeah,
that's fine.
No, but yeah, Gesundheit, Ivan. I saw Stars Born, and I usually, before the Oscars, I did my Marvel binge watch double feature. So I watched the Hulk and Iron Man 2. Now, let me tell you a couple things, a couple notes I took during the film. because it didn't just. I want to making it a point to watch these films and not just have it on in the background or just watch my phone. But I took a couple of quick notes about Hulk. Now, notice this. This Hulk movie is the only movie in the MCU that came out under Universal because they own the rights to the Hulk.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I liked all the little Easter eggs, the Bill Bixby theme, and the Lou Ferrigno cameo. I saw him at a Gen Con once, Lou Ferrigno. He had a handler with him, and the pizza joint that he was hiding out at near Elizabeth Ross's college, his name was Stanley's. I like that nod. And I liked Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. I really liked it, and it was part of the reason why the first Avengers movie was kind of for me, because I really wasn't feeling Mark Ruffalo yet. The final battle was kind of meh, and they never followed up on the leader, the guy who was the scientist, Mr. Blue. And I was kind of bummed at that, but they always had to leave it open for a sequel, and they never did because Disney had other plans, because these movies are still getting put out under Paramount, not Marvel Studios.
Right.
So, yeah, the Hulk movie I enjoyed it. A couple of the visual effects were kind of, and like I said, the final battle with Abomination was just kind of boring at times. And just the whole thing, how like the helicopter had crashed and it was going to explode and catch fire, but the Hulk clapped his hands and the wind from the hand clap caused the fire to go out. I was like, what? I was like, all right.
That sounds like a Superman move to me.
Yeah. But Iron Man 2, and getting to Iron Man 2, I liked it better than I remember. I don't remember going back to it. Maybe just because they played the less is more with Mickey Rourke, and I think it was just too sparingly. Maybe just because we were hoping for more action, we didn't get it. And when you think back, there wasn't a whole lot of action with the first Iron Man movie. They were still good. And Sam Rockwell, shout out to Sam Rockwell, who was Oscar-winning actor now. And he was Hammer, the Weasley arms dealer guy. And he was cool in it. Good visual effects. I didn't see a single turkey shot in this whole film. And one last note is that I still got the feels, that one little heartfelt moment where Tony is stuck in the house, and he's going through all the movie reels of his dad, and he's looking at his notes, and he hears his dad call his name, and he looked up, and he says he has the little map of the Stark Fair or whatever, Stark Expo or whatever behind him, saying the future is you, and my greatest creation, which will always be you, and I got the feels there, so. But it was really, and of course we get the first appearance with Natasha Romanoff, and I take back everything I said last week about Scarlett Johansson, because she was smoking hot in that movie.
Yes, she was.
I like the dark red hair. That's maybe a part of it. Like in Winter Soldier, it was kind of long and a less red and straight, but that's just me. But, yeah, she was smoking in that movie. There's one gratuitous scene where they have to drive to the Hammer facility to stop Mickey Rourke or Drago or whatever. And Happy Hogan's driving, and she decides she has to change her clothes in the back seat. And, of course, almost causing Happy to almost, lose concentration. And eyes on the road, she says. But it was a little, in hindsight, it was a little gratuitous, but... Hey, I'm not complaining. But still, yeah, Iron Man 2, yes. Iron Man 2 was great. Hulk was just good. So, my binge watch of the MCU will continue.
All right, let me throw something at you here.
All right.
I mean, you watched, you watched the two movies. Now, did you find that maybe because the fight scenes weren't as spectacular? Maybe was it because they were going for more character build and more identification with the character than actually trying to put action into the movie?
That in these movies, we don't know where they were going. We've seen these epic battles with all these CG monsters later on when we get down to Black the Black Panther and Age of Ultron and of course Infinity War, but the action was still good. But yeah, there were great character moments for all these films. I enjoyed the dynamic between Liv Tyler and Edward Norton, and a little bit between Robert Downey Jr. and Pepper Potts. A little bit. I don't know, the chemistry doesn't seem to really show.
It just wasn't as evident, or you don't think they gelled?
No, I don't think they gelled on screen. It was more like kind of a brother-sister kind of thing. I think they kind of had that kind of vibe where when they decided in Iron Man 2 that they should, have a relationship, and it doesn't really translate in Iron Man 3, but I'll get to that later because that's only a few movies down the line.
Right.
But oh well. But it was still good. But I just remember Iron Man 2 as being not as good as the first one, but I enjoyed Iron Man 2 quite a bit.
And there you go.
So.
Yeah.
Some things you just need to revisit in order to get a better perspective on.
Yeah, it is a nice revisiting of the MCU. And like I said, I'm taking them up 2 at a time per week, I think is the best way to go about it. That way I can absorb it and reflect on just the 2.
And just deeply enjoy it, immerse yourself in it.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
The problem with the headache that you have with Iron Man is when you start looking for a rogues gallery for Iron Man, it's just not that big.
Yeah.
He's never had a major rogues gallery. The Mandarin is kind of the big Iron Man villain, and they couldn't figure out how to do it until much later. And even that was not. I thought it was great what they did, but
yeah.
But so that's part of the problem. Is in fairness, I wish they would have done more with Justin Hammer in the future, because Justin Hammer, in some ways, is I don't want to call him a Lex Luthor, but he's a crappy man's Lex Luthor. Really,
he's a bitter rival.
He's like a D- version of Lex Luthor. That's the best way I can put it.
Second rate Lex Luthor.
No, he's below second rate. In terms of what they've done with him in the books, unless they've made changes, he was always just kind of I hire mercenaries and I'm an arms dealer, but he's always had a lot of potential. It's just that they haven't done as much with him. And I had kind of hoped they would do more, but the other thing was this was once again where Terrence Howard decided he didn't want to be in Marvel movies anymore, so we got Don Cheadle, and it's interesting because I think this is when he went to start doing Empire. So I don't know. We'll never know how that really worked out, but yeah, that's the one thing, Mike, to me, is that he just doesn't have a lot of he doesn't have the villain catalog, and it's hard to, all right, what are you going to do with him? That's even evident in the third movie.
I think too that, it seems like certain characters, whose galleries are large, but then, you kind of spread yourself kind of thin after having so many rogue characters to go after. And I think unless of course you concentrate on smaller numbers and hardier build-ups, do you think that might be the case in point here, where, the Iron Man, his numbers of rogue characters aren't big, but they're a little bit more hardy and more meat on the bone type of thing? Is that maybe true?
Mike, I don't know about you. I would say no.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Jeff. It's the quality, not the quantity. And it's both.
That's what I'm saying.
Iron Man is lacking in both, quality and quantity.
Yeah. In fairness, one of the people that they like to use in his books is Dr. Doom. Well, they don't have access to Dr. Doom. Well, now they do. But at the time they didn't. If you ask, here, ready, let me go do this. Because this should give you a clue, Ivan. It's like, name Iron Man's rogues gallery, and I'm like drawing a blank outside of like the Ironmonger and Mandarin. I don't have
multiple names. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah, it's not like a Batman where you have, Mr. Freeze, the Penguin, Joker, Riddler.
Yeah, so iconic.
And all these different characters that at one point or another had viability.
Yeah. And at this point, this is the first sequel of the MCU, so they're building on the success of the first game.
Okay.
And Iron Man's Rogues Gallery just doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's really funny. I've got an article here from CDR about the top 20 Iron Man villains, and I haven't even gotten to near the top of the list. They're just I'm just trying to go through this, and I'm telling you right now, I mean, I'm looking at this list, and I'm like, it's bad. I mean, just to give you perspective.
Is it a short list? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean, I'm looking at this list and I'm just not impressed. There's just nothing.
They're just goofy.
Let me give you a perspective, okay? So 1 is Mandarin, that makes sense. 2 is Stain, which makes a lot of sense, okay? 3 is Justin Hammer, okay, which I would like to have seen them develop him more. But to give perspective, here's number 4, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and again, this is recent. This is based on the comics.
Right.
Number 4 is Norman Osborn. That's a Spider-Man villain.
Really?
Well, they've done some stuff recently where, because of they've played with the politics game between Tony Stark and Norman Osborn.
Yeah,
there's a crossover happening there. Is that
obviously it's all under Marvel, but there was a tie-in, I think, during or after Civil War, where Norman Osborn was elected to office or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And then Tony Stark has been in the Marvel universe. Around at some point, Tony Stark was the Secretary of State at one point in the Marvel universe at one point. So. But I mean, like, here, let me give you a perspective. Like, number 5 is Madame Mask, which, cool villain, but I gotta be honest with you, I don't know that you could build a movie around her. Number 6 is Spy Master. Somebody called the Ghost is number 7. That doesn't even ring a bell to me.
Wasn't Ghost in Ant-Man?
Oh, yeah, you know what? Is that the same one? Maybe that's... Yeah, you know what? You're right. I think that is that one. Like something called Ultimo. I don't even recognize this. I mean, there's a guy named Temugu, and I don't even know how to. I mean, and you can't do a movie with Fing Fang Foom. You're just gonna. Yeah. No one's gonna buy that. I mean, and I'm up to 10 already, and I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, I don't recognize a lot of these names. I mean, and some of them, it's like, how would I build a movie? Like Crimson Dynamo is a great example, but I don't know how that works today. Honestly, on this list, guess where Whiplash is listed?
I don't know.
Like 19.
Like, well, I think they did a good job with Mickey Rourke as Whiplash, and the whole story where his father worked with Howard Stark, and he didn't want to cooperate or whatever, so they had him deported, and Tony never knew about him. Kind of they put him, kind of brushed him under the rug, and he was never spoken of. Yeah,
I mean, in fairness, like I said, to me, if anything, it's interesting because maybe the problem is that you needed to do something more with. It's funny. None of the standalone Iron Man movies has anything to do with Hydra, which is strange. Which might have been a better way to go, but yeah.
But they did the whole Shield Hydra thing with the Winter Soldier.
Right. Well, but you could have done some of that stuff because he's connected a little bit with all that with Cap and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing of the Hulk thing. Now it's funny. I forgot Liv Tyler was in that movie. Now I'm just upset that we don't get to look at Liv Tyler all the time. Can I admit that? I guess I just did.
Yeah, you just did, bro.
You know what's really weird? William Hurt went on to continue to play Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah.
In future movies.
Of course. He's been in 3, I think.
Yeah.
He was in Civil War, and he'd had a bit role in Infinity War.
Yeah, he did. But I think it's interesting that they brought him back, and it's interesting that they've never thought to bring Liv Tyler back to play Betty at any point.
Yeah. And one last note is that the Hulk did not have a post-credit sequence. They had a sequence right before the credits rolled where Ross is in the bar and Stark comes in and says, I'm putting a team together. And then the credits roll. They didn't put a scene all the way at the end.
Yeah. No, like I said, to me, I'm with you. You know, and that's it's such a mess because, you know, and honestly, Universal has the rights because they were the one who produced the TV show back in the day. So, you know, they have to be involved in any single production of a singular production of the Hulk.
Yeah.
And so the workaround has been, yes, you can put the Hulk in Marvel movies where it's not just a Hulk movie. That's been their workaround to get around it. But if they want to make a straight up Hulk movie, yeah, I don't, you know, it's funny. I'm surprised Universal hasn't sat there and said, you know what, we have the rights. We'll make a Hulk movie. Especially with everything that's going on.
They know it's going to be as bad as the Ang Lee one, or at least it's going to have that stigma. And everyone's going to be like, hey, it's not Mark Ruffalo.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
Edward Norton, we know Edward Norton's done.
Right.
So.
Well,
step off for a moment. I'll be right back.
Okay, Ivan.
You know, it's interesting. I wonder, Mike, if it was just because I think Norton got into it more with Marvel than they did with Universal.
Yeah.
I wonder if they couldn't. That's an interesting thought. If they couldn't basically go back to Norton, although Norton's just not a big enough name anymore.
Well, he was nominated for an Oscar for Birdman, I think.
Was he? I don't know. It just feels like it's been a while since we've seen Norton in a lot of movies.
True.
Or anything really, really of significant importance. I don't know. I just feel like he fell off the planet in some way. Yeah, no, I like. It's funny. I think Turner has the rights to Avengers, so it's funny because they keep replaying it every so often, and I catch sections of it. But yeah, I'm with you. So what would be? I can't remember what's next on the list.
My next two is going to be Thor and the first Avengers.
Okay.
Oh, and that's right. The post-credit sequence for Iron Man 2 was Coulson going to New Mexico and seeing the hammer in the crater.
Right.
Which takes place slightly as Thor begins. So
I can't remember. When is... I'd have to look to see. What's the... So you watched what? You watched Iron Man and then... Well, no, you were watching them and then...
I watched Cap, then Iron Man, then
right.
Hulk, then Iron Man 2.
But what was the real release order? Was the real release order...
I don't have that here.
Hold on.
It was Iron Man, then Hulk, then I think Iron Man 2, then Thor, then Cap, then Avengers.
Okay, that's why they couldn't do... That's why they probably couldn't do anything with... Yeah, see, that's the other thing. It's like, now that I'm thinking about it, that's why you probably couldn't do anything with Hydra. Is they hadn't gotten that far yet, because they hadn't introduced it with Cap yet. So, yeah, Cap's the last... I forgot that Cap was the last one. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
Before the Avengers, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. The problem is that's the direction they kind of went with it. Was, you know, we'll see.
Yeah, good movies.
Yeah, no. I like I said, So next on the list is going to be, you said...
Thor and Avengers.
Thor and then Avengers. Okay, so that's the next on the list. And then... Yeah, then it's then it starts to get wacky, right? Doesn't it? Then it's like, you got to go to Guardians or something, or I can't.
Then it's Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. Oh, I'm getting some echo again.
Okay.
Okay.
Ivan.
All done in there?
Huh?
All done in there?
Oh, I just had to go answer the door. It was a mailman.
Oh, the mailman at 8:45?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So so next is Thor and then Avengers and then Iron Man 3 and Thor 2. Then I think it's pretty much the same order that it's always happened in. So.
Okay.
So we'll keep next week. We'll have a couple more on my MCU binging. So Ivan, did you watch the Oscars last night?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
I love it.
Okay. Well, it wasn't required viewing, but it's going to be the point of discussion here for a little bit.
That's fine. Well, I'll follow along.
Did you watch any of the movies that were nominated for Oscars?
No.
Okay.
I'm being honest.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I've watched the Oscars in a couple of years. And I got to tell you, it was good. It was a good ceremony. I don't think they need a host anymore.
Yeah, their rating was up this year, is my understanding.
Yeah. Not just maybe. I don't think it's just people hoping for a dumpster fire. I think it's just people interested in the movies because this year there were actually some movies that a lot of people saw.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Actually,
for the first time, it didn't feel like I had to go out of my way to see some of these movies. I've felt that way at times in the past, where there are just ones where I'm like, I don't want to go see that. I'm not interested in that. That doesn't even sound remotely interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted to see the performances.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw the movie. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention. I saw the movie Melissa McCarthy got nominated for.
Oh,
oh, God. I
what's
can't
the name of that?
name.
Will You Ever Forgive Me or whatever?
Yeah. A fascinating story. She's really good in it, but wow, is that... Wow.
What?
I mean, it just seemed slow at times, and it's like I wanted to like that movie, but I just was like, ugh. I'm like, oh my God, this is so long and dull. And it shouldn't have been. It should have been fascinating because it's about a woman who was writing biographies of old school people like Fanny Brice and all that kind of stuff. And apparently she doesn't seem to be people wanting her stuff anymore. So she starts faking letters from old time like artists, and she starts selling them off as the real deal. And I guess that she wrote it's based on a true story, and I guess eventually she did write a book about it. So, but yeah, it was. I thought she was good in it. I just thought that it was a little bit slow.
Well, at least she had a saving grace from her movie before that.
Yeah, which is hysterical because I wonder how many times that's happened that somebody's gotten nominated for an Oscar and a Razzie in the same year.
Okay.
And she did win the Razzie.
Yeah, she did. She did. So what would you say were the highlights, though, Mike?
The highlight for me was just personal bias, but seeing Dana Carvey and Mike Myers, because I had a dear friend who I'd seen Wayne's World with back in '92, and I remember going out to the store and buying the cassette to Wayne's World so he could headbang the Bohemian Rhapsody. So it was a fun little throwback there, and it was interesting too that Mike Myers did fight to have that song in Wayne's World. I think one of the producers wanted a different song, but Mike said, no, I want this one. And it really did. He's right that Bohemian Rhapsody did help propel Wayne's World to a success.
Yeah, that scene is phenomenal.
Yes.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, it's iconic. I mean, that's something that everybody knows.
Yeah. And sure,
Well,
it wasn't.
I would say everybody knows of a generation. I don't know if younger kids know that scene as well.
Yeah.
Well, you sure you get the parents that have shown their kids, and I'm sure a lot of them, have got an idea.
That was the highlight for me, and the highlight was the Shallow song, how they just walked on stage and they just did the song with the piano. It was great. It was very very personable. Yeah,
cool.
And what was the other one? Yeah, it was cool seeing superhero movies win. That was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Into the Spider-Verse wins for Best Picture, for Best Animated Film, and so that to me was I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, well deserved.
Well deserved. It's funny. I will continue to say that as somebody who reads the comics, that might be my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time right now.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Well, I can agree with that assessment. I think it's probably like in my top 3 of all time Spider-Man movies. But it was still very, very awesome, and it's still the best animated film I'd seen all year.
Yeah. Oh, without question.
Yeah.
Without question. And I think it's on. I think it releases finally to digital on demand, like tomorrow. So. Yeah, I'm really happy about that, and I hope that congratulations to Brian Michael Bendis, because he was one of the producers on it, and it'll be interesting because he still technically has a contract and works with Sony, so I think we'll see more of those movies in his involvement, which is good because he's one of the better Spider-Man writers that's been in the last 20 years. Yeah. So that'll help.
This will surely get us a sequel to.
To look forward to.
Yeah.
I just want a Spider-Ham movie. Can I admit that?
You'll get a short, I think, with the DVD.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But honestly, you know what? If there was an entire season of Spider-Ham somewhere, I'm in.
I think they could do like a short run of digital shorts just to get their feet wet.
Yeah, I would do
test
it.
The waters.
Well, do short 3 to 5s on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? Other highlights for me was the Queen, obviously the opening Queen with that was awesome.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. What, you didn't see the opening?
No, like I said, I didn't see the show. I have not gotten a chance to watch highlights yet.
Oh, you didn't watch the Oscars either? I'm the only one here?
I saw most of the movies. I saw most of the movies, so I can talk about it. My thought process was at least I could talk about the movies because I saw most of them.
And,
well, I have no excuse, so.
And Pixar's Bao won Best Animated Short.
Have you seen that one? I saw that one. Because it was with
The Incredibles.
Wow, I saw Bao.
Yeah,
I thought Bao was great.
Yeah.
I was going to say, for once, I haven't saw something that we can talk about. Bao was interesting because that's the short that's right before Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That was great. It's just like Up. It'll take only 5 minutes to steal your heart.
Yeah. And what a way to do it, too, let me tell you.
That was great. I'm glad that one won, because it's the only one I saw. Solo was up for visual effects as well as Infinity War. It didn't win. First Man won visual effects.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about that. Given some of the names that were in that category, like Ready Player One was in that category too, and it's like, okay, First Man.
Maybe because First Man made it looks like they know what what it's supposed to look like, whereas this fantastic world of spaceships and aliens and crazy stuff going on looks real, but it doesn't look real to a normal person. You know what I mean?
Believable.
Well, obviously, it's supposed to suspend disbelief because it's fantastic, but First Man was supposed to look like the lunar lander on the moon, and it did. So that's how that worked.
I guess.
I understand. I'm glad Malik won for Bohemian Rhapsody. That was great.
Yeah, I guess that's where I kind of begin my really.
You didn't think he was going to win?
No, I didn't. I didn't think that that would not have been my choice for best actor. I was under the impression from the rest of the award season, Christian Bale had won quite a few of them, and I haven't seen Vice. I will admit that's one of the ones I haven't seen. I had a friend who saw it, who I trust, and he was like, "You don't even realize it's Christian Bale."
No, they showed a couple of shots from the film, a few clips during the Oscars, and Christian's got him down pat.
Yeah.
But underneath all that makeup, though, it's just him doing a voice. But I know he got all his mannerisms, and I think I said I hadn't seen the movie either, but I'm sure Christian Bale is a phenomenal actor.
Right.
So, when you're not in his scene, yes, he can be a great actor.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that was the name that I kept hearing bandied about. Personally, now I didn't see Defoe, but I saw the other three. I saw Bohemian Rhapsody. I saw Green Book recently, and I saw Star is Born. And to me, I would have given it to either Bradley Cooper or Viggo Mortensen. Viggo Mortensen was phenomenal in Green Book. He's great. He really is. But I thought Bradley Cooper's role in A Star is Born is just incredible. I thought he was phenomenal. I think he's better than. I thought he did a better job than Rami Malek, but I guess other people thought differently. So that's fair. I just would never. That's not who I would have chosen.
Yeah, if I was betting, I would have bet on Christian Bale because he's known in the acting community, and so if I had to bet, I would have gone with Christian Bale. But I'm glad that Malek won because he was great as Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because then, if I'm understanding it right, what's his name? Spike Lee did win something.
Yes, he won best screen. One of these either original screenplay or best adapted screenplay. I'm not sure.
I think it was adapted.
Yeah. And he almost pulled a Eddie. Remember when Eddie Murphy was up for Dreamgirls, but he didn't win, so he left. Yeah, I think he almost did that at the end when Green Book won instead of Black Klansman. So I guess he got up and started walking out, and I guess he ran into Peel, and I don't know if he kind of stopped him or whatever, but he went back to his seat. So Spike Lee kind of went off in a huff, and then he kind of at the press thing afterward, the press conference afterward or whatever, where he's in front of the mic behind the Oscars banner and all that, where he kind of makes a joke about it, like because he lost to Driving Miss Daisy for Best Picture.
Yeah.
So he says, when someone's driving, I lose, or something like that. So.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like there's some backlash about this movie. In typical fashion on social media, there's some backlash on Green Book. I've heard people refer to this as Crash 2, which I don't think is fair. I think Green Book was a really, really great movie.
Yeah. I'm gonna see it this week.
Having seen it on Tuesday, I enjoyed it immensely, and it's about two people and how from different worlds coming together. I thought both of them were really, really good, and that it was really a phenomenal movie. And how two people from different worlds can become friends. And some of the things that we forget about what the South was and how it, and that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, when you talk about Don Shirley, who, here's a corner where I can actually add something to it. As far as Don Shirley was concerned, he was making great strides in the music circles, in the jazz music circles. With what he did, but the thing was, back in those days, in order to promote a album or whatever, you had to do a lot of traveling. And it was, and of course, unfortunately, blacks had to go through the South, which of course was considered the Chitlin Circuit, by many, unless you belong to the TOBA, which was Theater Organization for Black Actors, or it used to be called Tough on Black Asses, which, of course, a lot of people would agree to that. But yeah, and the other side of the coin was a lot of people were saying, oh, here we go, the white man makes a way for the black man, and it's not that at all. It's not that at all. You have people that genuinely had the person's best in mind, and and the South being what it was back in those days, was a very violent, very vile place. And and that was the same way for Ray Charles. That was the same way for Sam Cooke. That was the same way for Wilson Pickett. When the Motor City Review would leave from Detroit, they also had to confront all of that type of a situation, because that's just the way the world was then. And time has kind of faded that reality in a way. But then we live a lot of that reality now with the way things are. But aside from that, yeah, Don Shirley, I mean, have you actually sat with a Don Shirley recording and listened?
Yeah, I gotta say, as somebody who likes jazz, this is gonna sound bad. I didn't know who Don Shirley was.
Oh, no. Well, see, but that's because, Don Shirley, I mean, you have your different levels of jazz people. It's just like, when you go up to somebody and say, well, have you ever listened to Chet Baker or Lenny Tristino or,
yeah, I've heard those guys.
Or Tom Fowler, when you talk about those kind of cats, and then, but to the vast majority, especially for those of us who listen to a good amount of jazz, present, company included, and but to the mass consensus of people, a lot of the jazz situation has gone through so many changes in the last 2 to 3 decades, and the young lions have taken over. That a lot of the older guys have pretty much faded into obscurity. There was a Miles Davis movie that was out a couple of years ago that I sat through, and I totally abhorred the whole thing. It was awful.
Yeah, it was. I agree with you.
It was awful, and it was painful.
I couldn't sit through it. I actually taped it. It was on cable. I was on one of the cable movie channels I got, and I sat through a couple minutes, and I was just like, I like Miles Davis, but I can't watch this.
Yeah, well, that's because they unlike the Don Shirley movie where they stayed with the facts and they stayed with the situation as it was. I mean, they painted Miles Davis as some kind of bohemian superhero, trying to stick it to the man, Columbia Records. You have the English guy who's trying to do all this stuff, and in the meantime, he's dodging bullets from people with guns and all this other stuff like that. And I'm sitting back thinking, I don't remember reading any of this stuff. It almost came off like a fantasy of some sort.
That's how they say, based on a true story. But Ali did win for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in Green Book, so I'm going to see it this week.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, I would definitely put my money on that. So,
and Shirley made a lot of progress in the fact, in helping with getting his, obviously not getting his music out, but helping to bridge the gap. And to have the gusto, the balls, to go into a venue that 1 year prior, Nat King Cole was dragged off stage and beaten.
Right.
Well, is that the scene they show? Is that the scene they showed on the show?
No, I'm not sure.
Because I
haven't seen the movie yet, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I just was surprised that you mentioned that one. That's something. I thought it was interesting because in the movie, the guys who play as accompaniment, one of them mentioned the fact that it's mentions to Viggo Mortensen's character about the fact that, really in reality, they could have stayed on the East Coast and made 3 times what they were making. Why do you think? And the guy says to Viggo Mortensen's character, why do you think we're coming all the way down here to play for practically nothing? And in some ways it was you're absolutely right. But it's interesting, Ivan, because I guess Shirley's family had some reservations about the movie and how things were portrayed. So that
you're always going to get the family input and say, oh, well, it wasn't quite like that or it wasn't quite like this. But then much of the time when it comes down to the family, unless they were really next to that person in their career and everything that they did, a lot of times, a lot of family don't really know as much as they think they know. It's just like what happened with the story of Burt Burns. Great producer, only lived to be 38 years old, made some ass-kicking records, but, did anybody really know the man except for, the woman that he married and, a few others, and there was a lot of dash about the whole thing, the way it was presented, but then, Mrs. Burns pretty much said it in a nutshell. He goes, well, unless you were there, you don't know anything about it. So, which is true in many cases. So yeah, I would put my bets on Don Shirley though. Yeah, I would definitely go see that myself. So.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Like I said, it says that apparently some of the family had some issues with stuff. Now, here's what's interesting. There's an article that came out today, when we record this. There's an article today that came out from Vanity Fair where, and I'm only looking at the headline at the moment, I'll admit, and I haven't gotten a chance to really look at this, but it says Green Book writer claims Don Shirley didn't want him to reach out to his family, which is interesting. Obviously, it seems like maybe he wanted to wait till after the Oscars to address it. I don't know. But, yeah, I thought Green Book was a really, really great movie. I think the funniest thing is... Go ahead. Sorry, Ivan.
No, but the thing is that, you get these cases where you get these famous people that, don't want to deal with their families in this situation. I mean, I've seen this happen time and again. There's a big deal happening right now with Otis Redding, which of course is a movie in the works. But of course his wife is not having it and, going around making all kind of fuss about the whole thing. But, again, and it comes back to the case of, I mean, do the family members really know, or was there some bad blood where they didn't want the family involved in the first place?
I didn't fully read the article. I'm just saying I see one out there. So Mike, based on watching the show, it sounds like that was a highlight. Did the show move along, or was it just kind of...
Oh, it moved along, and a couple of people, I was noticed this on social media, when they were getting close to, when they're doling out awards, and then like 3 people go up, and by the time the third person gets to talk, they're playing the music, they want to play them off the stage, they were cutting off the microphones, and that just came off as rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is it's catch-22, because I agree with you, and yet at the same time, you've heard some of those people where it's like, they'll go on, and in fairness, it's hard, because it's like, you at the same time, it's like, this is their life work, this is the one time they're going to get an opportunity, and everybody's like, I don't care about your stuff, just let's go, come on. And it's like, it's rough. I don't know what,
And
it's funny,
I think they're just looking for people to just say thank you and go.
Well, the show ran 3.5 hours. I think they ended just before 10:30 Central. So, I mean, let it go to 4 hours. I mean, you're putting all the ad space. I know it's maybe just me, but I'm glad. No. Of course, they reversed that decision to put those categories not on commercial breaks. They did make there was a little opening monologue with Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, and Tina Fey about there won't be any awards given out during commercials, but there will be commercials during the awards show, where if anyone would just please say Hellman's Mayonnaise during their acceptance speech, we'd appreciate it.
That's funny. That's good.
Well, that's just going back to the old 1950s way of doing things when they had done.
Yeah, and the presenters, some of the presenters were good. It was great. They had Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson presented an award, and of course they were in Creed and Creed 2.
Hey, yo, how you doing?
Yeah.
Sorry. Your voices are better than mine, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, Sly wasn't there.
No.
But
well, he wasn't up for an Oscar this time.
No, wasn't up for. No, he wasn't up for Creed 2.
No, nobody from Creed 2 was up for anything this time.
But
yeah,
it's great. Black Panther won a couple of technical awards. Bohemian Rhapsody won a couple of sound editing and sound mixing. Let's see. I had the list here. The best actress, everyone thought best actress was going to go to Lady Gaga or Melissa McCarthy, but it went to Olivia Colman for The Favorite. So all right. Like I said, I'm glad Malik won for Best Actor. Supporting Actor, we have Ali won for Green Book. Best Original Screenplay went to Green Book. And then Roma got a bunch of them. Costume design, makeup and hairstyling went to Vice. So,
yeah. The way I'm looking at this, just looking at the list of winners, I think it's interesting because I don't think very many walked away where they didn't get anywhere. Like Marvel came out okay. They won a few awards for Black Panther.
Just being nominated is cool too. I mean, Solo got nominated for an Oscar for visual. So
right, but I mean, but the point I'm getting at is I'm looking at this here and it's okay, Spike Lee didn't win Best Director, but he got Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah.
What's her name? Gaga didn't win for Best Actress,
but she got Best Original Song.
Right, she got for Original Song for The Shout. I've heard amazing things about Roma, but I think there was still a big backlash about the Netflix thing, and I think that was an issue. But
he did win Best Director.
Well, yeah, exactly. So
and Best Foreign Film, and a couple other ones.
Right, and cinematography. Right, exactly. I mean, I'm just kind of looking at this, and it just looks like the kind of year where it's okay, everybody kind of won something, and then, in a lot, because there were a lot of different films that people like Spider-Verse and that kind of stuff. I mean, it just seems like that. The only thing that I'm noticing that would be kind of interesting is in documentary, it was an interesting year because first they didn't nominate Won't You Be My Neighbor, and then something called Free Solo, which I know nothing about. I don't know what it is. Beat out RBG. So that's kind of a surprising. I mean, I'm not interested in if Beale Street could talk, but Regina King is somebody who's been around forever. So, I mean, a lot of feel good in this.
Do you think maybe the Academy was kind of taking their cue from years ago where there was a lot of separation in the Academy for a long while?
What do you mean?
Where they weren't awarding, blacks and Hispanics and other situations. So because everybody wants something, right? You said.
Well, I don't mean it that way. I mean, it just seems like this isn't a year where there was one of those films where it's they won 10 awards and it was that.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I do it that way. But I do think, Ivan, that, Rami Malek is, I believe, Egyptian.
Yes, he is the son of Egyptian immigrants.
Right. Regina King, obviously. I mean, there's definitely more this year of what you're talking about. There certainly was more of that.
More diversity this year.
But again, to me, it's funny because people are complaining about this Oscar year, and yet I've heard people complain about this year's about the Oscar nominees, and my reaction is, and yet to me, this is the best year in a long time.
I agree.
Like I said to you guys, these were movies I actually wanted to watch, not movies where I was sitting there going, I have to watch it. It's an Oscar-nominated film. Because we've all had that, right? Where it's
we've all heard about it, and it's
I wouldn't have given. Yeah, last year I wouldn't have given two shits about this 3 billboards over Ebbing, Missouri, or whatever. But I saw it, and it was a good movie. But I wouldn't have gone out of my way to see it. So,
ironically, that would have been one of the few that I would have gone out of my way to see. I just didn't get a chance to do it. But you know, there were quite a few last year where I was just like, I don't really want to watch. These movies don't sound appealing to me.
Now, Ivan, you remember back when we worked at the WEEF, where our program director, our big movie buff, Chris, was always doing a pool for the Oscars. Right. Where he'd have a sheet with all the nominations, and we got to check each box for which one you think is going to win, and then turn it in. I was never any good at those.
I wasn't either. So, I mean, I like to watch the movies. I know what I like. I know what I want to see. I know what I'd like to see. And of course, just like you and Jeff have mentioned, there were times where, it's an Academy Award-winning movie, and it's like you go see it, and you're like, okay, why was that in the Academy Award-winning movie? I mean, I saw a non-Academy Award-winning movie, and it was better. But this year wasn't that, because everything that was out there was really good. A lot of it was really good.
Let me give you guys perspective. I just pulled up the 2018 nominee list. Okay? Let me read off some names, and you tell me if any of about your interest level on these movies. And if you need me to remind you what they are, some of them I can do it. Okay. We'll go backward we'll go towards the winner, so Lady Bird. I don't even know what that is.
I don't remember what Lady Bird was about.
Yeah, that was Johnson's wife, Lady Bird.
Yeah, but that's not what this. I don't think that's what this movie's about either.
It's not about.
I don't think that's.
It's not about Lady Bird Johnson.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, see.
I don't think so. Hold on. Maybe I can get a synopsis. Hold on. Wait, what is this? Hold on. A coming of age drama. Of a high school senior and her turbulent relationship with her mother in 2002. No, definitely not about Lady Bird Johnson.
All right, okay, well, I mean, that's the first thing that came to my head, but no.
Call Me By Your Name. I don't know. I saw the post, but because that's the Washington Post thing.
Yeah, about
I saw the post. I saw that. Yeah. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, a little boring at times, but yeah. Get Out, which I don't know.
That was that one, that action horror kind of thing?
Is it? I don't know. Three Billboards will be mentioned. Both you and I agree that was a good movie.
Yeah.
Something called Phantom Thread. Dunkirk.
Oh, saw Dunkirk.
Okay. I didn't see Dunkirk, but I heard it was...
My sister made me watch it because she's a big Tom Hardy fangirl.
Right. I heard good and bad. Darkest Hour, which was the Churchill thing.
Yeah, with...
I saw that. I thought that was really good.
Commissioner Gordon, yeah.
Oh, was it? And the winner was Shape of Water, which I gotta be honest, it's on my DVR, and I have yet to want to sit down and watch it. And I've heard people say it's a really good movie.
Well,
but
I saw that in the theater, and I have to say, for what it is, it keeps your attention, and the person who did the interiors and did the designs and did everything about it, they were on it. Somebody did the research. It was really very, it was aesthetic for the time and place that it was. As far as the story was concerned, okay, I mean, it's fantasy, so you have to kind of give it the threshold because of what it is. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting. Like it says, I liked it when I saw it. I thought it was really good.
Okay. Well, so that was where the nominees in 2018. And I don't know, I mean, just basically even from your guys' reaction, there's a lot there where it's like, I'm not really all that interested in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like this year was different. I feel like for the first time in a while, I was like, ooh, I do want to see that, or oh, that looks interesting, or that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This year there was a lot of really good things you wanted to go see because you wanted to go see.
I mean, I'm looking at this here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there were 8 nominees for Best Picture. Of them, the only ones I didn't see were Favorite, Roma, and Vice. And I do want to see Vice. But, I've seen the other ones. I thought Black Klansman was good. I just didn't think it was at the same level as, say, A Star is Born or Green Book. And with Black Panther, I gotta be honest with you, I think part of Black Panther's problem is when it came out. Because you gotta remember it from all the way back in February, last February, like practically when the Oscars.
It was a year ago.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it, and I think the funniest thing is, I don't know if you've seen this weekend, Mike, is there are sections of the geek community that are complaining about the Black Panther snub.
Snub?
Yeah, that they didn't win Best Picture.
It won 2 technical awards and Best Costume Design.
Right.
I know.
So
but
it did win.
You know how it works. How can you not see Best Picture? It's the greatest thing,
Yeah, I was hoping Infinity War would win Best Visual Effects, but First Man got it. At first I was like, crap. But I was like, just an honor to be nominated.
I guess. That's what someone would say. That's what losers would say, but no, I'm not going to go there.
Well, okay, a better way to say also ran.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I think this was a good year. I mean, the box office even showed it. This was a good year for movies, and
it was a good year for movies this year.
Yeah, no, and even the ones where
it's a bad year for my wallet.
Yeah, it was a little.
Because I wanted to see all these movies.
Yeah, no, I did, and I think that's the key here is, these were all movies like for Best Picture. These were all movies I wanted to see.
I was poor for the experience, but I was poor in my wallet, but richer for the experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I mean, like for example, even short animated film. How often have you ever really seen the winner for Best Short Animated Film?
I didn't even think that was a category anymore.
I don't know where you go to see animated short subject.
Right, but that's my point. Like for example, there's an example where. Go ahead.
Well, they used to have the short subject sandwiched in between 2 movies, but I don't know if they do that as an actual standalone thing now. Do they?
Well, I think it's interesting because look at what Pixar does. Pixar will do like a small feature before the movie.
Right.
And they've won tons of these animated shorts.
Right. And but here's the amusing part. Did we all see Bao?
I did, yeah.
We did.
Right. Why did we all see Bao? Oh, they put it in front of Incredibles 2.
That's right.
Sure.
A regular theatrical release.
Right. Makes total sense. That's the great way.
They're just bringing back the old adage of what used to be in the theaters. You get the newsreel, you get the cartoon, you get the movie. You get the cereal, whatever. So Pixar just went back to an old adage saying, well, if we're going to feature these short subjects, we'll put it, in front of our features.
Well, they've been doing that since the first Toy Story.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And look at the windfall that they've had every time they've done it.
Yeah.
Nobody else, I don't think, is doing short theatrical subject, animated theatrical subject.
Well,
right
Disney
now.
Studios is now.
I think it's more independents now that are doing it, but you're right. I mean, even like from a perspective of, think about this. We all talk about how when you go to see an animated movie, that really in reality, it tops out about 90 minutes?
Right.
And I know people whose reaction is, I'm paying full price to see a 90-minute movie. Right. Well, here's an idea. Put a short in front of it like this, and congratulations, you're at 2 hours now.
Well, close. 1:45. I remember the backlash when they were putting the Frozen 20-minute short in front of Coco.
In front of Coco, yeah.
Yeah, that made a lot of people angry.
Yeah, I don't remember what the big deal. Well, I don't know.
It was just adding to the running time of the film.
Not only that, and I think some people, especially in the Hispanic community, kind of took it as a snub, like, oh, great, okay, I got to sit through this 20-minute thing before I get to the movie that I came here to see. My kids are getting antsy, and they're thinking that I took them to the wrong movie, and they're bitching. So a lot of that came out of that whole situation.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it too. Is I wonder how much of that is how much of that was a factor about the film that they put it in front of.
Well, the fact that it was a 20-minute short, not just a 5-minute short.
Exactly. I mean, a 20-minute short, it was almost like they're trying to say, okay, here's an opportunity to sell the next Frozen.
Yeah, and with the trailers, the running time was over 2 hours, and that's a long time to have a 6-year-old sitting down.
Yeah,
exactly. Because especially if the movie doesn't engage the kid and hold his attention, he's moving in the chair, he's asking questions, he's fussing, he's giving the parents a hard time.
Or he's got to go to the bathroom.
Right.
He has to get up at the end because he can't hold it anymore. Poor kid.
Right.
So Pixar learned their lesson with that. Yeah,
well, we'll see. That's why they're talking about having an intermission in the middle of Avengers.
I would not be opposed. They didn't. Did they put an intermission in for Titanic?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
That is a movie I have never seen in full, nor do I want to.
What?
Titanic.
I saw it twice in the theater. I was enamored with it when it first came out, but now it's like, eh.
I mean, people talk about the Shallow song with Lady Gaga. That freaking Celine Dion song, it's like, oh God, don't make it stop. I'm pretty sure they use that for waterboarding torture. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
You think Shallow is going to become the latest I Will Always Love You?
Maybe.
The latest one where it gets played to death?
Could be.
If it ain't being played to death already.
They played Let It Go to death.
My God. God.
Trust me, I was like, there's the second Frozen movie's coming out. I'm like, oh my God, run away! Run away!
Never return.
Yeah, we should change the name instead of Let It Go to Run Away, Run Away.
Ivan, did you ever see Frozen?
No.
Okay.
Wow, that was weird.
Yeah, never saw Frozen, never bothered with it.
You were smarter than I.
It didn't grab me. I'm sorry. I mean, it was just, you get so many choices now with what animated features you want to see. You don't have to go to just any old thing anymore. And when Frozen came out, I was like, Yeah,
there was a time where there were like an animated kids film CG every month. And that's kind of really tapered off.
Also, too, Pixar almost shot itself in the foot, almost shot Disney in the foot because they were cranking things out like crazy to the point where, hand-drawn animation was in peril.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Well, that was the studio. That wasn't Pixar. It was Disney.
That was Disney, yeah.
Pixar was doing their own thing with CG, and then all the other studios says, we need to do that. We got to get all CG and shit. So all these animators who just worked in paper, you're gone. You're out of a job.
Yeah, I mean,
don't blame that on Pixar. You got to blame that on the studios who are firing all these poor people.
Okay, you're right. Okay, I'll give you that. But then you also had all these other houses. I mean, Jeffrey Katzenberg, dealing things with DreamWorks and all the DreamWorks stuff that's come out. Holding up to How to Train Your Dragon, which is the third one coming out as of recent.
Yeah. As far as for How to Train Your Dragon, I saw the first one. It was good. I have the DVD. Second one, I was like, for me. So this one, I will see it when it's out on rental. So I hear it's very good, but I'm just not invested in that universe.
See, there you go. Which, of course, you just, elucidated my point of, Frozen, okay.
Well, honestly,
I'd rather see Toy Story 4.
honestly, Ivan, if it wasn't for the fact that I have cable and it was on one of the channels I get, one of the movie channels I get, I wouldn't have watched it either. But it was there, so I taped it, and yeah, I was like, no.
No, like, what the fuck is this?
I'm like, no, I don't think so. No. I won't even get into my Frozen rant. I'm not going to go there.
Well, do you have anything other final thoughts about Oscars so we can move on to our next subject?
Not that I can think of. I don't think there's anything else I can.
Yeah, is anyone going to go out of their way to see Roma?
No.
Okay.
No, not really. I have a buddy who I flip with who has Netflix, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean,
Again, doesn't grab me. Nope.
Well, the other thing is too, Ivan, to see it, you got to get Netflix.
Well, here's the thing too. It's just like people are making the thing that's bubbling up now. They've asked me, are you gonna go see Dumbo? No, I ain't gonna see Dumbo. Dumbo don't grab me.
I don't want Dumbo to grab you. That's kind of freaky.
Well, you know what I mean. I mean, the thing is, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, not to take props away from Tim Burton and his style of directing and shooting his sequences and stuff like that, but it's just so far removed from the original movie as to it just almost, it's almost like what happened with Mary Poppins. Everybody thought, oh, it's a remake. No, it's a new story, folks.
Yeah, it's continuation.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And the Mary Poppins song was good. Bette Midler sang it. So.
All right.
Yeah, it was up for best song. Original song was at the. I don't remember the name of the song, but it was good. And the Jennifer Hudson sang the song from RGB, and that was a very good song too. But anyway, yeah, Oscars was good. So. Hopefully next year we'll have it just as good.
Yeah, let's hope we have just as many more movies to go see.
Yeah, man.
Amen.
Yeah, man. Indeed. Speaking, as long as we're on movies, let me flip to this subject. I don't know if anybody. I wanted to mention this because it kind of happened right after we kind of got off air, or we didn't mention it. So I guess Netflix is making a biopic about Hulk Hogan. And I'm going to flip when we say the name that is the name attached to the project, which is Chris Helmsworth.
What?
The guy who plays Thor is going to play Hulk Hogan.
Okay. Interesting.
Right. He's a good actor, and he can bout
you
about.
Think he'll pull it off? You think he'll do it?
I think with the right hair.
I was going to say
he's got good acting chops. I think he could pull it off.
I was going to say he's got too much hair. Hogan doesn't have that much hair.
Not anymore. Yeah.
No, even back in the day,
it's gray now.
Is it? I don't know. I haven't seen Hogan in a while.
Yeah, his locks are gray, and he's got hardly any hair up there now.
Well, he didn't. In fairness, in the 80s, he didn't have that much hair up there either.
It wasn't. Yeah, he balded pretty early in his.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he always wore the bandana around his skull.
But
his reality show didn't do much for his career either.
Well,
I'm sure it paid the rent.
What?
I'm sure it paid the rent.
Yeah.
Probably about it.
Well, that's the other thing is this is, here comes the reinvention of Hulk Hogan. You watch. Hogan's been looking for a way to reinvent himself, and the ego once again will have landed, because if there's anybody who's got an ego, it's Hulk. I mean, don't get me wrong, Hulk revitalized the industry, revitalized pro wrestling, but man, I'm telling you, sometimes it's just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I watched a YouTube video, these YouTube videos about the 10 people that hate Hulk Hogan, and the list is, it's quite a few prominent people in the wrestling industry that didn't really care for him.
The late, great Randy Savage didn't care for him, which will be interesting. He didn't care for him much at all, and yet he worked with him quite a bit. But there was a lot of Hogan had things in contracts that were always crazy. Like when he went to WCW, there was supposedly in his contract there was something that said he could only go a certain amount of days without holding the WCW title. That he had to have it a certain amount at all times, and or it was a brief, or I don't know, they had to pay him more, or I don't remember. But there's crazy stuff like that. I'm fascinated to see what they're going to do with it. And the most amusing part is, so I guess TMZ asked Ric Flair, and Ric Flair's like, yeah, I hope they get Bradley Cooper to play me.
Well, you gotta give it to Flair to pick out, a quality product,
I gotta be honest. Between the three of us, screw the Hogan movie. Give me Bradley Cooper playing Ric Flair as a biopic from Netflix.
Okay, well, you know what?
I'd prefer a documentary, like they did with Andre.
Yeah,
well, I would prefer. Of course, Jeff, you saw Mickey Rourke and the Wrestler.
Yes, I did.
Yes, awesome film. Loved it.
Yeah. And the scary part is that a lot of that is real.
That's all.
There are wrestlers who really are like in that kind of situation, like
living down on our luck, they'll do just making living, just going doing these little conventions and public appearances.
Or guys who once upon a time were guys that you'd recognize their names, and now they're doing these shows and they shouldn't be, and they're in bad shape. The name that immediately comes to mind, and you might even know this, I think both you guys might know this name, which is Tony Atlas.
Yeah.
Right.
Tony Atlas, this was a few years, I can't remember when it was. MTV did like one of those little documentaries about being a wrestler, and that was one of the ones where, Tony Atlas was still trying to, make money and be on the scene and still wrestling when he clearly should not be. And there are stories out there about how Vince McMahon has paid for things for people and helped people out who are on hard times. But even so, it's just like,
do you think that maybe, the situation, as bad as it was for the guys, was actually a little worse for the women of wrestling, like, say, China?
China's an entirely different conversation.
Oh yeah, are you going to go see that movie, My Family Fighting or whatever?
I do want to see it. It looks interesting. So it's there's a great example of something where it's kind of interesting, which is, and this is where things get scary, is, Paige is the person it's based on is a character named Paige, who's technically still on the WWE roster. I can't believe, if I remember correctly, I don't think, hold on, I just want to look this up, because I want to be able to sit there and say this without question.
You want to say this with confidence? Go ahead, check it out.
Yeah. So she's 26 currently, and she had to retire from wrestling.
Jeez.
All right.
Wow.
She had already had some concussions and some injury issues, and then there was a situation where there was a move that was done when she came back, and she got hit with an injury from Sasha. She took a kick from Sasha Banks, and there was an impact injury on her neck.
Oh wow!
And it's funny. They've kind of kept her around, quite frankly, because this movie was coming out, and I'm kind of curious as to what's gonna happen to her.
Well, I can only hope that she's getting a percentage out of this somehow.
Oh, I assume she is. Especially because
I would hope so, because that would really suck that they're going to go ahead and they're going to make this movie based upon these events and everything like that, and everybody's just going to make all this money off of her, and she's not going to see any of it.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is involved in this film, so I'm sure he's going to.
Right.
Okay.
I and that's the one thing. I think there's money there. It's crazy. See, what's interesting is they won't talk about where she went once she got, I don't know how much they're going to talk about some of the other stuff that happened once she got into the WWE, which is at one point she was dating another wrestler who left the WWE, and then when she got injured, there was a bunch of stuff, and she went on hiatus for a while, and she was suspended a bunch of times, to the point of where there was a period of time where we didn't see her for like almost over a year. And there was a lot of crazy stuff, and there was a wrestler that she was with that, there's talk of drug use, and again, I don't want to get too much into it, but, some of it was, like I said, it was
pretty hairy, yeah.
But she's been on that she's been on that Total Diva show from E! That they do at times. It was funny, she was being the SmackDown general manager this past year. I am curious to see what's going to happen, but to me, here's a great example, is when you talk about like the wrestler, Mike, all these people who work for the WWE, they're independent contractors. They don't have a union. They're their own corporations. They're not W-2 employees.
Well, no, they're their own name. They're their own entity.
Right. But here's the thing. Like when people sit there and talk about, well, I get health insurance from my company. They don't get health insurance from the company. They have to go out and get all that stuff on their own and all that stuff.
Being a very physical sport, and sometimes having these terrible hospital visits where, and when you get into these more minor leagues, as far as wrestling goes, you can have you've got a lot of potential for some serious injury to yourself.
Well,
which also opens up the option of astronomical hospital bills, which of course being paid off with astronomically expensive insurance because of the sport.
Right, and you're talking about at least when there's the guys who are in like the WWE or somebody like that, at least in theory you're making enough money off your contract that in theory at least you might be able to have banks deal with that. But truth be told, we've seen a lot recently with wrestlers, where they've had to, guys who are younger who literally you're like, okay, I got to retire because they told me if I do anything, I'm going to break my neck. The most notable would be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold had a situation where they're like, don't do it again. Don't, and I know he'd love to do one more match, but that's not ever really going to happen. There's some real truth to that. But to Mike's point about the going around and sitting at places, my friends who do the All Yeah Comics podcast and do All Yeah Comics, Art and Franco talk about how a few times they've had a booth next to Virgil.
Virgil from the Hulk Hogan movie, Over the Top. No, not
Virgil, the guy who was Ted DiBiase's body.
From $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Right.
Yeah.
And he'll come around with the $1 million belt and all that stuff, and there's all kinds of stories where Virgil is just not a nice guy, but he's at every show. He's at every show with his stuff, like that.
Well, he's self-promotion. He's trying to sell his brand like everybody else would try to sell their brand in whatever way possible in order just to keep the cameras clicking, your name out there, and the social media's buzzing.
Yeah, I don't know about social media, but my favorite is my buddy John Suntress at one point was like, "Hey Virgil, that's my table, not yours." Yeah, like I said, I don't remember the stories well enough to bring them out, but there have been some stories about Virgil and comic conventions that I've heard.
I would be interested in seeing Hemsworth as Hulk Hogan. I would probably go see this, just because I grew up in that age where we had the WWF and the glory days with Hillbilly Jim and Andre the Giant and Rowdy Roddy Piper. Those were my days where I was most interested in wrestling.
You know what's interesting about it? I did not see
Macho Man.
It's funny. Somebody put out a thing about
Or maybe if they did like a mini-series, I think would be a better format.
Maybe. I don't know if you could get Helmsworth to do a mini-series.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
It's funny. Somebody made a picture. They took Chris Evans' picture and made him look like the Macho Man. And I was like,
that's this all day, brother.
But it's already been done in comic books, hasn't it? It's, you know, wrestlers have been done in comic books already.
Sure. But, I mean, that is part of the thing. All right, who are they going to get to do this? Who else are they going to bring into this movie?
They'll get CG Josh Brolin as Andre the Giant.
Yeah, there's an idea. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if they brought in the Big Show to play Andre the Giant. No. That'd be interesting. He's a buddy of Hogan's, too.
I think he'd have to be CG.
I think with enough makeup, they could make it work with him.
I don't know.
But do you think it might come off like Will Smith as the genie?
I'm okay with Will Smith as a genie. I'm going to see that movie.
That was bad.
I saw someone made up a movie poster for The Lion King where they superimposed Will Smith's head inside the lion's mane for for Lion King. I think he's getting a bad rep. I think it's fine as the genie. I think Will Smith will be fine as the genie.
Okay, my heart of hearts, guys, I personally don't have no duff about, Will Smith being the genie. I saw the pictures. It looks cool. I think I might entertain it. They seem to be taking a very more serious
The internet
tone.
is having a field day.
Yeah, like I said, it's a ravenous place.
In fairness, I think they tried to make him look too realistic, and I think they needed to make him a little bit more cartoony looking, or more fantastical than they do. He looks like a human being. It's like,
he's not bigger than life. No, you're right.
You gotta wait for the movie to come out.
Right. Oops, sorry. And the thing about it too is that having seen the trailers. And again, it seems like it's a little bit more serious undertaking. In fact, it even gives me a more of a dark feeling about the Aladdin release. It seems to be a little bit more dark than the actual animated movie. It's not as ha-ha-hardy. It's more like, like it's got a little bit of meat on its bones. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, like I said, I guess I just... to me, he looks like he's just part of the Blue Man Group or something.
And of course, the forever comparison to, no one will ever top Robin Williams. But you got to keep in mind, Robin Williams, was the voice of the character. He wasn't the character.
Well, he kind of was.
Well, yeah, he was the character vocally. But, having stepped away as Disney tends to step away from a lot of the usual things and a lot of poetic license in all their movies. And it's true, there's an ass shot in every Disney movie. And so that's what I'm saying. And, it just comes right down to here we go one more time, trying to, pull all the stops and such, So I'm hoping for the best for the Aladdin movie. Now I've seen rushes for the Lion King, and I mean they even got James Earl Jones back, as part of the voice acting team, which is pretty awesome. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I saw Lion King in the theater. You and I saw Lion King in IMAX. Remember, Mike?
Did we? I don't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did. It was we went to see Lion King.
I thought that was funny. See, now here's an example of where social media gets it right. So they had the little teaser trailer that they put out like a few months ago, or like back in the fall, where they have the scene where where like the monkey's holding up Simba, and apparently like there were people who were like all over the internet filming themselves with their cat or their animal, like tweeting that with music. I thought that was hysterical. I thought that was good. That was good. That was funny. I liked it.
Well, it's just like the comparison to Toothless of How to Train Your Dragon to Cats, which they said that it was modeled after a cat, and then by a side-by-side comparison, yeah, I guess they were right. So,
yeah.
hand it to the kiddies. What's on the menu? Can we all get to eat? Get to eat.
Okay.
Well, that was in Lion King 2.5.
Never saw it.
I don't think I saw that one.
Nope.
All right, reference lost to everybody. All right.
Well, not everybody, but yeah. I'm sure there's somebody out there going, I know what it is. I know what it is. Don't worry, we know.
It's okay. I'm old.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
I don't know. What else? Oh, I wanted to mention, I don't know if you saw what I sent you over, Mike, about that Hasbro is doing a deal with WizKids.
Yes.
WizKids, huh?
Yes, they're getting into smaller collectibles, I think. Here's the announcement from WizKids. It was posted earlier today, which is Monday. Announcing a new licensing partnership with Hasbro with the addition of beloved properties like G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, and Transformers to WizKids' extensive line of miniatures. Fans can expect to see their favorite characters first appear later this year in both pre-painted and unpainted formats. It's funny how this comes out the week after Toy Fair, so we don't get to see any
spoilers.
Any new molds? What are they coming out? Any pieces they have in this? Maybe they just signed this deal. Who knows? Maybe they're working.
Yeah, I think they just signed it.
I think they just finally did. But okay, so Hasbro is licensing its strongest properties to other companies. It's been done before.
Well, here's the thing, Mike, and this was the reason I wanted to talk about it tonight. Is so I know a little bit about WizKids. WizKids is their biggest claim to fame is a click-based game called HeroClix.
Okay.
And they do. I think they even have like a battle tech.
Is that like the statuettes that got the little clicks at the bottom of the base?
That's correct.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, see, I know something.
That's exactly what it is, Ivan. I don't know how you knew that, which is impressive. Now I gotta ask, how did you know that?
Because my nephew Carlos used to play with them.
Okay. Yeah. So
he had some that were Transformers. He had some that were, some of the other different type of figures. But they all had this like.
Hasbro tried to do their own thing with Transformers and Star Wars. It was called Tactics.
Tactics, right?
Yeah, where they had the same click-based open field gameplay, where they had missile launchers. You try and knock over the other models.
Mm-hmm.
This is a little different than that, but this is more of it's more like a strategy game.
Right.
Okay. All right.
It's funny. At one point they had something where they were working with Major League Baseball and they did it. It didn't go very far, but they've never done Transformers before, Ivan. So what he's probably thinking about is, I know they were doing stuff with BattleTech.
Yeah.
I know they've done stuff with Halo. Obviously, anything DC and Marvel both have HeroClix.
Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting because the gameplay is such where you could do it team-based, but most of the time it's one-on-one, duel-based. But you could do it where you could run scenarios and stuff too if you wanted to. It's not nearly as popular for some strange reason amongst the people who play it, and there are other weird. I thought it was cool for you, Mike, because it would give you an opportunity to play a game with Transformer stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that miniature and board gaming is kind of coming back in a retro kind of sense. So, when we did just finally get that, just recently, a few months ago, they started that Transformers collectible card game. I think they launched that at Gen Con last year.
Yeah.
So, gaming, sure, I'm all for it.
Well, like I said, that's why I was excited for you, because really, in reality, to me, you know, I mean, they'll have a whole bunch of different pieces, and it's something that you guys can play. I think Geo, it'll be interesting to see. It's kind of funny because in theory, a lot of their stuff is usable with other stuff in terms of the game. A
lot of stuff is interchangeable.
Right. So, like, for example, well, at least it was when I used to play with the DC and Marvel stuff. So you could mix and match. Like, you could do, like, okay, I am going to have Superman and Spider-Man in a group together when I go fight somebody or something like that. And you know, it would be interesting to see. Like, they've done some big, like, back in the day when I used to play and I used to be more interested in the HeroClix, and it's funny, I kind of collected them some ways for two reasons. One, I did that, and two, when I was running superhero RPG, it was nice to have those big figures that I could bring out those figures to bring out for when I had bad guys and stuff,
right.
For purposes of play. But they were doing like these bigger ones that were just amazing. Like, they did the Galactus one that at one point, if you could get one, you could sell it on the internet for like, it was a $75 piece, and you could sell it on the internet for easily $200-300.
Sure, bring back the collectibles aspect, maybe help resuscitate the G.I. Joe brand, and Hasbro's My Little Pony line has never been stronger with the reboot from 2010. So, sure, bring the collectible stuff. If you want to bring the collectible aspect and the game-playing aspect to Hasbro's strongest properties, sure, go ahead and do it.
And, you know, they're just such a strong, we have such a strong attendance for our D&D and game nights over at the arcade, too. I mean, they've just been getting bigger and more intense.
Wait, you didn't tell me that they had RPG at Logan?
Sure we do.
You're killing me, Ivan. You're just killing me.
Don't you follow the events on Logan Arcade?
Yeah, you should see what's on our listings. I mean, we got all kinds of things. One of my favorite ones, and I'm sure Mike you would have loved it too, was the night we had several hundred pounds of Legos come in. And
I remember. Yeah, Zesty made a video about it. How he just had like a pile of Lego and like pay to come in and you just make what you want and you can walk out with it.
Exactly. It's like our little clubhouse down there over at Logan Arcade. We always, Monday nights we have horror movies going on, except for the last one where it's the Electric Jungle and Logan Arcade. We end up doing musical movies last Monday of the month. We have anime nights there now. We've just started that up about 2 or 3 months ago. And then of course my one Sunday gig got sidestepped because there was a D&D tournament taking place for that Sunday, and I had my show shifted around, because that was taking place, as well as the Bell and Chimes, female pinball league that's there, which by the way, newest Munsters pinball has just been released. It's awesome.
Just to interrupt you, Ivan. Yeah, I guess we just lost the first Marilyn from the Munsters.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, she passed away.
Pat Priest?
Let me check and see who it was.
Yeah, I'm making you do this time.
I'm making, yes. I will find out for you in close proximity here. I shall find the article. It was Beverly Owen, who was the original Marilyn from the Munsters. She passed away at age 81.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Wasn't she only was she only like relegated to like the first season?
Let me look here. It's on TMZ, the article. He originally played Marilyn, ovarian cancer. Let's see. She was in 13 episodes.
Okay, so she was in the first season.
Yeah.
Which I don't see why they don't ever show those.
I don't know.
Because I've only ever seen the Pat Priest episodes of the Munsters. It's just like you don't see the Perk Kelton episodes of the Honeymooners. She was the first Alice.
Her first TV gig was in As the World Turns back in '56. She then appeared on other shows, including The Doctors, Kraft Mystery Theater, Wagon Train, The Virginian, Another World, Bullet for a Bad Man, before earning stardom on the Munsters.
Wow.
But she was 81 years old. Here's a nice little note from Butch Patrick, who played Eddie Munster. He said on Facebook, beautiful Beverly Owen has left us. What a sweet soul. I had the biggest crush on her. R.A.P. Bev, and thanks for your 13 memorable Marilyn Munster episodes.
So. All right. Now I got to go ahead and find the DVD set and see those for myself, because I've never seen them. Not a one.
There should be the complete series somewhere.
There should be. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, the first, the Munsters movie in color was so jarring for me because I just used them seeing in black and white, and then all of a sudden they're all green.
Yeah. So. He had a crush. Butch Patrick had a crush on her. I had the biggest crush on Yvonne DiCarlo. And if you look at all of her other pictures when she's not Mrs. Munster, you'll see why. Because Yvonne DiCarlo is very beautiful actress and singer, dancer. Got a couple of her 45s in my collection, believe it or not. Singing is not her strongest suit, but definitely was good on the eyes, though. But
sorry, man.
yeah.
But just didn't mean to. Yes, I did mean to interrupt, but Ivan was talking about the events at Logan Arcade.
Yeah, well, it's just if you look at if you go to our page, Logan, LoganArcade.com, you can see all of our events there. Tavi does all of our art. She does all of our posters and makes everything up real nice for us. And we have things happening here almost every day over at the arcade. I mean, if we're not doing benefits, we're hosting parties. We're not hosting parties. We're doing events. We have DJs of different types of music that we do there. I'm included in that bunch. And then we, like it says, we have role playing games. We have D&D. We have actual gameplay happening there too on certain days of the month. And yeah, so if you want to do something out of the ordinary and want to check out over 80 games, you don't need to pay to come in. Our machines take quarters unless on designated nights where the pinballs are free. And Killer Queen is also free too on certain nights. We provide a lot of fun in the place we call Logan Arcade, 2410 West Fullerton in Chicago. So
guaranteed to blow your mind.
In. Yes, it will. It'll do just that. Yep. And of course, can't wait till October. Be back part of the Stern Pinball Expo again this year, so that's going to be fun.
Well, that took place in March last year. Is it biannual or?
I think they do have like two different events, and the October event is the bigger of the two.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I remember playing. I remember playing at the 10,000 square foot new factory. I DJ'd the opening day events over there a few years back. That was a good time. Actually, watching them making the pinball machines and stuff is really cool.
Oh. Okay. Well, Jeff, I reckon it's about that time.
Is it
about that time?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay, let's get to it then. All right, and I know you got some stuff. Scott is just like churning out material.
Yeah, he's doing yeoman's work for us. He's doing our work.
Yeah, and by the way, if other people want to send in ideas and things for the show, that's great.
Yeah, please, by all means. I mean, we encourage it. Please.
Yeah. You got a wacky news story? We'd be happy to read it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Share it with the world.
There you go. And,
let me start here, Mike, because I think this one's a good one to start with.
Okay.
Girl Scouts have found a new way to sell their Girl Scout cookies. Not that I thought that they needed them.
I got the Walgreens. I hit the Walgreens yesterday, and I got 2 more boxes, so I'm set for a while.
I am trying to avoid my dealer like the plague.
Okay, I have to ask the questions. What were they?
Thin Mints.
Thin Mints?
Yep, that's my jam.
Thin Mints is your poison, huh? Okay.
I guess this is the last year they're doing the lemon ones, I guess.
Is it really?
Yeah, they're retiring the lemon ones.
As long as the tag-along still exists, life is good.
Okay.
But
in case the Girl Scouts need a sales boost, how do you think they're going to do it?
Well, apparently they did it by putting shirtless Jason Momoa on the boxes.
What?
Man. Selling Girl Scout cookies. I dig it.
Okay.
So one of the girls in Colorado, a 5th grade girl in Colorado, learned to tap into not just hunger, but the thirst, specifically a hunky, shirtless Jason Momoa. So you know how they have the Samoas? Well, now there are the Momoas.
The Momoas.
Oh man, I didn't see that. Why did I not see that?
So she put them on. She printed them up and put them on a whole bunch of boxes for the Samoas and called them Momoas, and they began to sell like hotcakes. There's a
hunky chunky advertising.
Yeah, and a special shout out to all those Girl Scouts who are in Colorado who were smart enough to sell cookies in front of the marijuana dispensaries.
Smart move.
So apparently the local youngster Girl Scout is named Charlotte Holmberg, and she's now being deemed the top cookie CEO of her area. And I gotta be honest with you, that is genius. Because really, you got nerds who will sit there and buy it because it's something unique and different, and you got moms who are probably sitting there going,
"Woo,
yep, give me a Momoa, baby, give me a Momoa." You know they're sitting there going, "I
swallow more of those Momoras."
You know, there's a few who sat there and said, "I want to put a Momoa in my mouth." I'd be more worried about the ones that said that they swallowed a Momoa. That'd be impressive.
Okay.
But that's selling. I gotta be honest. That's good. 10-year-old thinking ahead.
That's genius. That's genius.
That's smart thinking. Yep, you're gonna get people to buy it if you put them on.
Okay. You know they say it sells, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mike, what you got?
Well, we appreciate you, Scott, for bringing all these in. These are some great stories. Okay, so police find an alligator guarding a stash of drugs. Okay.
What?
Police stormed a Coatesville, Pennsylvania house during a seemingly routine drug raid on February 8th. They encountered something shocking among the fentanyl, crack cocaine, and heroin guarding the kitchen, an alligator, which they have now nicknamed El Chompo.
It's terrible.
As New York Post wrote, the alligator's moniker was bestowed upon him in honor of Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo, who was recently convicted after an infamous saga of arrests and ingenious escapes. Though the 3-foot El Chompo hasn't fully grown into adult yet, with as much as 7 individual feet likely to come in his lifetime, the gator was still a substantial threat and was found patrolling the kitchen where the narcotics were being stashed. Following the raid, El Chompo was transferred to the Brandywine Zoo in Delaware for quarantine. He'll spend the upcoming summer there before ultimately being shipped off to his final destination, a Florida zoo named St. Augustine Alligator Farm and Zoological Park.
So he's going to be rehabilitated from his marijuana using ways.
El Chompo is getting relocated.
Yeah, he's getting cleaned out.
You know, I got to tell you, that'd be a hell of a tourist attraction. Come see El Chompo.
Come see El Chompo.
I might go. I might want to go. Come see El Chompo. I might
I like it.
I mean, that's gangster. I mean, that's some gangster shit right there.
Yeah, that's some tall gangster
shit.
You
don't need, like, somebody's sitting there going, you know what? We don't need dogs. We need an alligator.
We need an alligator to sit there and watch our stash.
Yeah. You know what? They got a point. Who's fucking with the alligator? Nobody.
Nobody's fucking with the alligator, man. Are you kidding?
Nobody. You know,
and one of the police, I guess one of the police was quoted saying, quite frankly, as we can tell from these drug dealers, the alligator may have been the brains of the operation.
Maybe. Maybe. Or you know what?
They're smart enough to have the alligator guard their drugs. So
yeah, you know what? You can be a dumbass, but if you got an alligator guarding your shit, chances are you'll be just fine. I mean, you could be a lot stupider and do some dumbass shit if you got an alligator guarding your shit.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you want to sit there and fuck around with no alligator, okay?
Nope.
No.
Here's the real
didn't Steve Irwin end up getting done in by an alligator too?
No, it was a manta.
No. I think it was a manta ray or something.
Yeah, manta ray stabbed him, and he was foolish enough to pull the barb out of his chest. Had he kept it in, he might have survived. Yeah.
There is the one scene, though, in Dr. Dolittle 2 where Eddie Murphy is with Steve Irwin, and he's talking about, this alligator doesn't know I'm behind him, and I'm going to grab him by this. And the alligator's like, what Steve doesn't know is I know he's there, and in 2 seconds I'm going to bite his arm off. And Eddie Murphy's like, Steve? No. Right now, I got him. Steve?
I remember this. That
was a funny scene. That was good.
Yeah. And by the way, fuck you, PETA. Making Steve Irwin.
Yeah, seriously. I swear to God, some of this PETA stuff is just crazy. I mean, that's just, we could do an entire episode. We could do an entire wacky news on PETA.
You leave Steve Irwin alone, you assholes.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's just, look, now they got, see, this is where it gets ugly. They got studies out now talking about how it's better that none of us eat meat anymore. There's a reason why we're freaking omnivores. Anyway.
We were all brought up inherently to eat meat and everything because our parents eat meat and their parents ate meat and everybody else ate meat.
Yeah. Like I said, it's you don't see them stopping animals from eating other animals. That's wrong.
Oh yeah. Tell those animals out in Africa that they can't eat.
Really. Good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
Tell the alligator he can't eat anything other than drugs.
Yeah.
Next story, please, Jeff.
Here's my one question. You think it's cheaper to have one alligator than a whole bunch of dogs?
Yeah.
I think so.
Because put it this way, what's nice is that if one of the game neighbors decide to piss you off and everything, you can always feed them to the gator.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Without question. I'm gonna tell you, they may sound like they're stupid. They don't sound stupid to me. They sound like they're geniuses. It's funny. That sounds like something you'd see in like a movie where some bad guy would have like a bunch of alligators. You know what? Now I need to like write some sort of. See, now this would be good. I could use this for role playing games. I could have like a drug lab, and there's they don't see the alligators. That's good stuff. I might have to use this.
Yeah, do some trapdoor shit, you know?
Yeah, or something weird like that where there's alligators and crap. Yeah, no, that'd
be the way to go.
So anyway, going from that, speaking of eating things, this story's been out there a little bit. You guys may have actually heard this one. Man forced to enter dog park covered in peanut butter after losing his fantasy football league.
Oh, God.
What?
You haven't heard about this story? This has been all over the place.
No.
Peanut butter? Why?
So, 25-year-old Steven Shrout, who is a newbie in fantasy football, decided to join in on a 12-team league made up of his friends from high school who have been playing for a decade. You can already see how this is going to end up. It was my first year, and I didn't do anything of this kind of studying, so I just kind of jumped in. He selected Le'Veon Bell, who didn't play for the entire season because he held out, as his first pick. He ended up being dead last. Stroud's punishment decided by the league was to cover him from head to toe in peanut butter and enter the dog park.
Did he have to go naked?
You know, it looks like it. I have not watched the actual video, which is up on the Facebook page. But based on the picture that I'm looking at here, he is naked.
Oh God!
Oh shit!
He's naked.
Who agrees to that kind of bet?
Yeah, that's the real question, Mike. That's my reaction. Which is
no.
Why are these, are these your These are your friends? God,
that's just fucked up on so many levels. Come on.
And now it's on the internet for all to see.
Yeah.
Forever.
All because you suck at fantasy football. No, I don't think so.
No, you set yourself up for that defeat, man.
Yeah. You know, that's the part where I don't know about you, but if I was playing fantasy football, I would want to read the fine print about something like that. I'd be like, no, not playing, not with that, no way.
Not on those terms, no.
Nope. You got anything else, Mike?
Yeah, I got a couple more.
Okay, good.
Okay, this one is from I Love My Dog So Much. That's the website.
Uh-oh.
But apparently, a bear broke into an SUV and took it for a joyride. When Ron Cornelius and his wife awoke to loud noises during their middle of the night, they looked outside their Durango, Colorado home to find that an SUV had crashed into their mailbox and over several utility boxes. They called 911 to report the crash, not knowing if people were still in the car or injured. Then La Plata County Sheriff's Office quickly arrived at the scene to determine this accident was not due to humans at all. But how did they know? The culprit left behind some evidence in the car. A pile of poop. It turns out that a bear had broken into a neighbor's Subaru SUV and released the parking brake, which caused it to roll backward toward the Cornelius' house.
That poor bear shit his pants because he was going so
while the bear was in the car, he managed to rip the steering wheel off, pull the radio out of the dashboard, break the back window, and tear up the whole interior, all within a matter of minutes. It's unknown what made the bear want to go inside the car in the first place, but police believe he may have been searching for food. Thankfully, he wound up only leaving his own, and aside from the car, nobody was harmed. But he didn't exit the SUV without leaving a poop as a parting gift, which police believe was due to him being frightened by the moving vehicle.
Yeah.
Well, we've learned an important lesson.
Yeah, bear really shit his pants.
Yeah, we've learned an important lesson. Not only do bears shit in the woods, they'll shit in your car too.
They'll shit in your SUV.
Yeah. Which is fine, because you know what? SUVs need to be shit in on a regular basis.
Yeah, I saw a meme on a Star Trek Facebook group saying, Captain Janeway, first female captain. They give her a starship named after a minivan.
Oh,
yeah.
That's not right.
That's not
right.
It's a little, that is, yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, drive SUV. You had a...
Obviously, you didn't know how to handle stick. Anyway, next. Oh, we're gonna have fun with this one. I already know this. I had fun with it the first time I saw it, and kudos to Seth Cowley for sending this to my personal page, and then I put it over to ours. After much hand wringing over a new nail salon's unsuitable name in Ohio, of all places, of course. You've heard this story. You've seen it already?
No, just go ahead.
I know.
So they renamed their business, a woman by the name of Dawn Moon, and it's a new spa. It's a nail and spa place called Hand Jobs.
I did see this. Yeah, I did see that picture.
That's
hand
not
job.
dirty at all.
Oh, no, we don't have our intent on our sleeve, do we now?
Hey, honey, you want to go into hand job?
Excuse me, it's 5 o'clock. I got an appointment with a hand job.
In fairness, she's got a great quote here about this. The owner has a great quote. Quote, you don't want to say something they can't remember or they can't pronounce or say in less than a week. I think the whole country knows about us, which is true. You can't pay for that kind of advertising.
That's right.
She's not wrong.
Well, if that's what they do, I guess that is truth in advertising.
Wait, here comes the fun.
Happy ending, anybody?
Wait, are we ready for her logic? If you go in and get your nose done, it's called a nose job, right? Well, come in and get your hands done. It's a hand job.
Yeah. Has Mr. Kraft been in there yet?
Oh, me, yeah. Well, he wanted a different type of ring. As long as we're on that, do you know, as somebody who hates the Patriots, do you know how hard it's been not to post all of the Robert Kraft prostitute ring jokes that I have seen that I am absolutely dying at on a regular basis? Absolutely dying. They are hysterical. Like the one where Tom Brady's made up to look like a girl. I mean, there's some really screwed up ones. Hold on. As long as we're going to go down this spiral, let me find it.
All right, we're going down Jeff's wormhole. Woohoo!
Like, that's almost as bad as the nail job thing.
or the associate job, happy endings.
Oh, God. Hi, man. So this is from the Facebook page. I hate Patriots. There's one here with him with the guy who they locked away, that Hernandez guy. I'm innocent too, bro. That's bad. There's one here with him with Kraft and Trump that says, I said grab him by the pussy, not pay for it.
Oh boy.
There's one with him. There's one with Kraft with a heart on, and there's an Asian woman, and it's like, you want to see a Super Bowl trophy? I mean, there's even one where they made up a review of the plays with Robert Kraft's name on it. Apparently, somebody's making shirts that say free crap.
Free crap.
Here's a good one. This one was funny. I like this one. Match the New England Patriot to his violation. And there's a picture of Belichick, Brady, Hernandez. I can't figure out who this other one is. And then there's Kraft. And then there's a deflated football on one side, an Asian woman, what looks like a steroid vial, a camera, and a handgun. I'm telling you.
You put in your favorite kids' activity book.
Really?
Color it in.
Obviously there was the ones like, are you ready to deflate these balls? Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, there's the one here about the picture where it says, please reveal photo of Patriots owner's Robert Kraft prostitute to public, and it's Tom Brady with a blonde hair wig.
Man, oh man!
Like I said, I've been sitting here all week like can't do it, can't post them. People could get that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you will.
Oh no! Trust me. When I post the stuff with the Packer or Patriot stuff, if I do one too many, I hear about it. I hear about it all the time. It's like, I think you've gone too far. No,
yeah,
I don't think I've gone
You do
far
a lot
enough.
of anti-Packer memes.
You do a lot of anti-Packer stuff. You're known for that.
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
The thing is this. There really are, you know how many Packer jokes there really are in the world?
How many?
One. The rest are true.
Well, all good humor has a root of truth to it.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
You set me up for that joke. I didn't go there.
Yeah.
So going back to the hand job thing. Wow, that's not too bad.
Oh, please go back to the hand job, Jeff.
Yeah.
Go back to the hand job.
Go back to the hand job. Not everyone is laughing. The Perkins Township zoning director said she's gotten complaints about the sign's suggestive nature. Signs should not be indecent or obscene in nature. We have no stance on whether we have to take into consideration the entire feel and community of the Perkins Township. They're talking about if they have to go to court, that they'll go to court over this one. But
just goes to show what a bunch of prudes we all are. You know, while your kid is blowing away people in the head on their Xbox, ultra realistic violent special effects and graphics. Meanwhile, I don't want to have to explain to my 10-year-old what a hand job is. Like, I'm with you. In fairness, she's not wrong about the part where, I mean, perfect example. We'd never talk about her store if it wasn't named the hand job. That's right.
I mean, we really wouldn't be doing this story.
Yeah, kids nowadays, they're telling the adults with what's up now with the access of information that's out there.
I heard this story at least 3 times on Chicago radio this past week. So it's not just like us. This story's been out. The peanut butter one's been out there too, by the way. What else you got from listeners?
I see. I'm gonna shout out one more, I think, and then we're done for today. We appreciate you, Scott, for sending these in.
Thank you, Scott.
So to close the show.
Are we closing? Because I got a few more, but okay.
Oh, if you got one more, this is my last one. If you got one or two,
I got a few more.
Okay. Let's see. Here's the last one for me here. A woman is due to have her leg amputated, but she wants to take the skin and turn it into a handbag.
Oh, hell no!
Because she can't stand the thought of it rotting away. So, Joan from Manchester, this is in the UK, suffers from peripheral arterial disease, for which there's no cure, and as a result needs to have her lower leg removed surgically. So I know it's a bit odd and gross, and some might think I'm crazy, but it's my leg, and I can't bear the thought of it being left to rot somewhere. It's part of me, and I want to keep it. Joan, who has a budget of £3,000, has contacted Sewport.com, that's SEWPORT.com, who are looking for designers who are willing to work with human skin, and they are already working on potential designs.
Oh, my goodness.
You can take human flesh and turn it into luggage and accessories, I guess.
Put the lotion on the skin. Make sure you put on the lotion.
That's right.
Where did you get your bag? It's Joe, the next door neighbor.
On their website, they commented, it came to light that she got in touch with us after seeing the request from a lady who wanted the dress made from her mother's hair. God, damn.
Oh.
What?
That was inspired to do something similar.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
What is with these people?
Before you say, ew, gross, we've spoken with the woman and her reasoning behind it. It's actually understandable and very personal. Joan explains, I don't know if this is even plausible, but I'm thinking if we can use animal skin for garments and accessories, why can't we do the same be done with our skin? Surely there's someone out there that can apply the same methods.
Yeah, the guy from Silence
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can go ahead and put your ashes and press it into a record, anything's possible.
So surely there's someone out there that can apply the same methods. I know it's gross, but people keep their babies' umbilical cords and have relatives' ashes on display, so it's not really that weird if you think about it. But
well, yeah, I mean, people keep
it weird.
Metro, and this is a tweet from Metro Lifestyle about how the woman wants to use the skin from her own amputated leg to make a handbag. And there's several designs for handbags, and they're all like in a flesh tone. Oh, God.
Ew.
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
I mean, when you touch it, is it supple like skin?
Oh,
I presume it just feels like leather.
Yeah, I guess you would have to process it so much just so that it would hold up under
Does
certain
it have hairs
conditions.
coming out of it?
Yeah,
It's got to be waterproof.
Let's see here.
I can't believe we're going to this one.
Yeah, this website here.
Oh, there's a website. Should I go look at this? Do I really want to look at this? No. Gross.
We're just trying to flesh it out.
Oh,
Ivan. Ivan.
Oh man, that's bad.
I'm gonna survive this podcast by the skin of my teeth.
Oh, come on now.
Oh, what's that bad?
Who's actually trying to eat while listening to us, God forbid.
I'm sorry.
Not just Ivan.
You're not sorry at all. That's the problem.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and turned it into a handbag.
Thank you, Hannibal.
Okay, Jeff. So top that, Jeff. What do you got?
Do I have to? Let's skip the thing about Hugh Jackman.
Give me this best shot.
Actually, the next story I got is actually from you, Mike.
What?
Yeah, we're going to do one of your stories.
Oh.
You had a story this week that you dropped in here about a drunken woman mad about losing money in a pinball machine and brawled with cops.
Oh, no.
A Monroe County woman was dangerously drunk just after midnight Sunday, assaulted 2 police officers and an emergency technician after the 26-year-old lost money in a pinball machine at the Plainfield Township bowling alley.
Oh, shit.
So apparently, there's a bunch of things about her name. Was reimbursed for the money lost in the machine, but punched the glass on the game. Police said.
Oh.
Don't believe the Blue Valley Lanes, but instead requested more alcohol. When she was refused, she threw a cup of water in the face of the employees before heading out.
Wow.
The officer caught up with her at a specific route, and when asking for identification, the officer noticed both the smell of alcohol. Refused the request, and after yelling obscenities and slurring her words and losing balance, the officer deemed she was manifestly under the influence of alcohol to the point that she felt she was a danger to herself and others. All this from pinball.
It's a very competitive game.
Yeah, seriously. Apparently, she refused to stay seated, and then attempted to place. Tried to place leg restraints on her, but she kicked the officer in the chest and then headbutted him as he tried to turn her vehicle. While continuing to curse and spit, she kicked another officer as he tried to get her into the holding cell at the headquarters. Emergency personnel was requested, and as a responder attempted to get her into the ambulance, she continued to spit and struggle, so a spit hood was put in place. Hit the EMT on the forearm. Yeah, like I said, she's all this because she lost at pinball.
What pinball game was it?
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say?
Maybe it's one from Logan Arcade. I have no idea. But that's the one Mike says she ain't no pinball wizard.
No.
No, she ain't.
But I gotta tell you, Mike, she sure plays mean pinball.
That's right.
Yes, she does play a mean pinball.
She's not deaf, dumb, and blind, though.
No, she's not.
No, although she instead.
Although she might have been considering how drunk she was.
Just dumb.
Let's see. I have a story here about the weirdest town names in all 50 states.
Okay, and it is?
Oh, no, each state has one.
Oh, each state has a funky name.
Yeah. Some of these are
funky laws.
Like, for example, here in the state of Illinois, we have a town named Chicken Bristle.
Nice.
Okay.
I don't. I don't know that we need to go through all. I don't know that we need to go through all 50 of these. But like for example, I will give you something notable, which is the one for Indiana is Santa Claus, Indiana, and that is the original birthplace of one Jay Cutler.
Well, Santa Claus, Indiana was also known for one of the very first Santa Village style type festival places.
Right, but all right. Is there a state anybody wants to throw out a name, and we'll see. I'm trying to see if there's ones that are really.
I'm looking at the list now, so tell you what, I'll give you the state. You read it, Jeff.
Okay.
Fire.
Well, this one's pretty obvious. We'll get this out of the way. In the state of Hawaii, they have a town named
Volcano.
Okay.
Hopefully, it's not an actual volcano.
Yeah, really.
Volcano, Hawaii. Okay, and I want to go to that place one day.
Maryland.
There's some good ones. There's some really good names in some of these. I will tell you that now. Where else do you want to go next? I have a few in mind.
State of Maryland.
State of Maryland. I gotta make sure which one's the Maryland one. That's the one that says accident?
Yes.
Accident Maryland apparently exists.
Accident, Maryland?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I found my favorite. I think I found one of my favorites. Ivan, what do you think Toadsuck is in?
Toadsuck, Mississippi?
You're close. That's Possum Neck. You're not far away from the state. Mississippi is Possum Neck. That's my second favorite.
Is there okay, here's one. Is there an actual place called Wet Dog, Maine?
It does not list it here if it does. They're going with specific ones. So any guess, Ivan, as to where Toadsuck is?
Florida?
No, that's Spuds.
Okay. Tennessee.
No, Tennessee is Smart. With two T's.
Two T's.
With 2 T's.
Okay, let's see. Georgia?
No, Georgia is a place called Flippin'. It's kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it. Flippin', Georgia. Yep. I'm in Flippin',
Yep,
Georgia.
you got that right. I was hanging around in Flippin', Georgia.
Yeah, I can see this. I can see it now. Where are you from? Flippin', Georgia. Hey, you didn't need to be mean about it. No, I'm really from Flippin', Georgia.
I am really from Flippin', Georgia.
I live in Hawaii. Send my bill to Volcano.
Yeah. All right, because Ivan's never going to get this one.
Yeah.
Toadsuck is in Arkansas.
Toadsuck, Arkansas?
Yep.
Okay.
That was first.
I like state of Texas.
Yeah, I do like the state of Texas, which is Ding Dong.
Ding Dong, Texas.
Named Ding Dong, Texas.
Here's
Ding
what
Dong, Texas.
Here's what I don't understand. Catfish Paradise, Arizona. Because there's water where for catfish?
About some oceanfront property in Arizona.
Yeah. Catfish. See, I mean, even like the one from Las Vegas is not Las Vegas. One from Nevada is not nearly as funny. Jackpot. Whoopee, big.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious, though, you know.
There are some amusing ones like Boring, Oregon.
Where were you last week? Oh, it was in Boring, Oregon.
That's okay.
Was it that bad?
The week before you were in OK, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma was okay. Okay, Oklahoma.
Can I tell you that I am amused by the fact that that if you're going to find pig, it's going to be in Kentucky. Big Kentucky.
Big Kentucky?
Yeah. There's some good, I'm sorry, this might be my new club leader. Booger Hole, West Virginia.
Oh my goodness. Where do these people get these names?
I have no idea.
Oh my God.
I'm sure the people of Dole, Ohio are not so thrilled. Is there any more that you really like, Mike? I can't tell which state this is, but Satan's Kingdom?
It's Massachusetts.
Is it Massachusetts? Well, that makes sense.
Kingdom
Hail
Massachusetts?
Satan.
Okay.
And I think we let's see, one more I guess would be Fry's, Virginia.
Yeah.
Fry's, Virginia.
Although I do like Why Not North Carolina.
Why not South Carolina? Why not?
Because South Carolina has cowered. Oh, I'm sorry. I should mention this one, considering my last name is Stein. Apparently, I need to visit Frankenstein, Missouri.
Now, Jeff, as a kid, did you get made fun of because your last name is Stein?
So this leads to an interesting story.
All right.
My dad, one of the ways that my dad used to scare the shit out of me is if he really wanted to make me pay attention, he would tell me that he was planning, if I didn't stop it, he would go into court and change my name to Franklin Norman.
Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yeah.
And that would stop me dead in my tracks. And that was
wow.
For a long time that worked until I figured out he couldn't do that. My mom tells a story of when she used to teach in Chicago public schools that they named the baseball team the Frankenstein Monsters.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know
Poor
if I ever
team.
got Frankenstein as a kid. I think I must have at some point. I think I did, but yeah, no. That the best is I didn't need kids to do it. My father was right there for it.
All right, we are 2.5 hours in about, so
All right.
one more before we can head out of here.
Let me see. I actually only, do we have that much left? We have a couple left. Let me just try it. I'll skip one of them because I think that's no, this is going to be long. I'll skip it for now. Remind me that next week we need to talk about the man who got millions of air travel miles from pudding cups. Yeah, I know. That's on the site. You can read it. Let's see. We'll go here, which is this beer. There's a beer that has been brewed with frosted Lucky Charms.
Oh, I've read about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's enough people that have heard that. Here's one. We'll end with one from our state, from the state of Illinois, that further proves that there is redneck in our state.
Oh yeah. This is a fact.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It says our state, and then I look it up and it says California. So apparently it's not Illinois.
Oh.
Oh God. You know, I've just thrown the dog. See, why do they do that? If it says ABC 7 Chicago and it says state bill, that means I would think it's the state of Illinois. Why would I ever think it's California?
Totally fake news, I can tell you.
Okay.
So apparently there's a state bill in California that could legally allow Californians to eat their roadkill.
Oh.
So
And put it in a
apparently,
handbag when you're on flesh.
yeah, really. Actually, yeah, you could use the skin there to make your hand. God.
Yeah, well, that's how they do things in OK, Oklahoma.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
There's no dull. It's not a dull time in Ohio there.
Got some Jason Momoa cookies for dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, really. Actually, could you stuff the handbag full of Jason Momoa cookies? There we go. So anyway, apparently there's a Senate Bill 365 which would allow people who accidentally hit and killed wild animals on California roads to recover the edible portions. You're going to get a lot of loss. There's not much you're going to get out of an animal after it's been hit like that. Because California butcher Ian Higgs, he's a custom butcher for some place called Roseville Meat. And he's like, it's definitely an art. He says you can't harvest much you can't harvest much meat from roadkill because of the trauma from the most deadly collisions makes the meat go bad. You can't eat the dirt, and the thing is, when you hit it hard, you're going to have a lot of tough meat. Things we should all learn. But yeah, apparently, yeah. Well, there you go. So, state of California. But like I said, we've teased for next week. We are definitely going to talk about the man who got millions of air travel miles from eating pudding cups. We will definitely have that next week. It's on the site now if you want to look at it at Facebook, but I'm sure Mike could tell us all about that and more, right, Mike?
That's right. On the Facebook page, you get all the wacky news and stories, including a certain item coming down an airport luggage pickup conveyor belt.
Yeah, that was funny.
Oh my God! No, who's gonna claim that? Maybe the same lady who opens Hand Job can. So all the wacky news stories and such are on the Facebook page for Squares of the Round Table. Go and check us out. Subscribe. We are on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast, and we appreciate you listening on YouTube. Subscribe, click the bell. You'll get notifications when new episodes appear, usually every Wednesday. And if you're not listening on PodBean, it's awesome to just download the free app, and you can then get access to the free podcast. And guess what?
Yeah.
It's all free.
Yes, it's all free.
And if you want to go to the email route, that's fine, too. We have an email address. We're fancy internet people like that. SOTRTpodcast@gmail.com.
All right.
Well, like I said, yeah, I think the one thing about our friends that went around on the thing, I swear to God, I saw that like about 5 times, and I'm like, I'm posting it. I'm posting it. I think the best part is it comes out one hole and goes into another, just like it should.
And with that, we done. Episode 40. Yep. We are now over the hill.
Yep. All right.
Yep.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week. We'll catch up with you next week. So hope you'll join us again on the Squares of the Round Table podcast. I'm Driving Ivan.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jeff. See you next week.
Take care, everybody.